My name is Andy Cripe. I recently passed the SQE assessments on my first attempt, and I've been admitted to the role of solicitors for England and Wales. I've been a practicing lawyer in the United States for the last 25 years. I'm a partner in the global law firm of Norton Rose Fulbright, where I practice labor, employment, and compliance law for global employers. I took the SQE because I wanted to qualify as a solicitor in England and Wales so I could advise my global clients on cross-border issues between the United States and the United Kingdom. I decided to take a preparation course because I really wanted to pass on my first attempt. I knew it was going to be a big time commitment to study English law and prepare for the exam. I took the QLTS course because I researched the providers that were offering materials, and QLTS just seemed to have the broadest depth of resources, everything from videos to books to lots of quizzes, and so they just seemed to provide the best value. I enjoyed studying with QLTS. The materials were very clear. It was interesting, covering all aspects of English law that were covered on the SQE exam. So I really enjoyed it. I found at the beginning the practice exams were very challenging. At the end they were still very challenging, but I understood where the questions were going and I felt confident in how I was answering them. For me, the most beneficial part of the QLTS materials really were the practice assessments. If I were advising anyone on what they should do when studying, after you get a general understanding of English law, spend as much time as you can on those practice questions and take as many of them as possible. The QLTS practice questions were very challenging, and at first I felt frustrated by how challenging they were, but it really prepares you well for the actual questions you face on the SQE. I started preparing for the July 2022 SQE sitting in January of 2022, so I had about 7 months. And in the first 2 months, I really tried to get an overview of the materials, reading the books, and then listening to the lectures, usually on my train ride into work in the morning and on the train ride home. I had about a 2-month period where I really wasn't able to do much studying because of work commitments. And so in my final 2 months before the exams, I really focused on the practice tests and taking as many as possible, and then going back to the practice questions and looking at the answers I got wrong and trying to understand why I got them wrong. My firm was very supportive of my study efforts. Norton Rose Fulbright is a global law firm. It was originally founded in London. We have a large office in London. So they gave me the time I needed to prepare. I actually worked in our London office while I was doing my final preparation, and that was very helpful. I felt very well prepared for the SQE assessments, and the main thing that I found was that the QLTS practice questions were as challenging as the actual test questions on the SQE. And talking to other exam takers on the days that I took the exam, I found that that was not their experience. For the people that took the QLTS course, I think we all agreed that the questions were just as challenging, but people that took other courses were unpleasantly surprised at how challenging the SQE questions actually were, and they felt not well prepared. Passing the SQE has been very helpful and valuable to me as a lawyer that regularly advises clients that do business on both sides of the Atlantic. It helps me to better understand their issues in the United Kingdom, and it also helps me explain to people in the United Kingdom how things are different in the United States. I sort of think of dual qualification as being able to translate back and forth between the two jurisdictions. I took the QLTS course for the SQE 1 assessments. I was able to get a waiver from the SQE 2 assessments because I'm a qualified practicing lawyer in the US. I think it's absolutely essential that you take a preparation course, and for me, I can't imagine not having taken the QLTS course. To put in that amount of time and effort and expense and not be well prepared on the day of the exam would be extremely frustrating. My advice for people planning to sit the SQE, I guess it would depend on their own background. For me, as a foreign qualified lawyer, having practiced for 25 years, I was coming at it from a different position than maybe a new trainee in the United Kingdom. I had sort of a wide base to work from in terms of my legal knowledge. So if you're a US qualified lawyer looking to qualify in the United Kingdom, my advice is spend as much time as you can on those practice questions, trying to understand the differences, because if you answer the questions like an American lawyer, you'll get at least half of them wrong. And so going through the QLTS materials and really being able to identify those differences is probably the most important part of preparing for the exam. To be a successful solicitor, I think someone needs to be curious about the law and about their client's problems and really want to dig into the facts and the law and sort through those issues. But I think an equally important characteristic is just being persistent, putting in the work, putting in the hours. And if you enjoy this area, if you enjoy the law, that won't be a problem.